Let's switch gears now and talk health matters on Channels Television. A warm welcome to the program. I am Yomi Otaigbe. Our conversation today centers around addictive behavior, particularly social media addiction. Increasingly, social media addiction is being recognized as a significant public health challenge by researchers, psychologists, and those outside the health system space too. Often compared to substance addiction owing to its impact on the brain, social media overuse is believed to affect both mental and physical health. I guess as a mobile phone user, you may have found yourself scrolling from one social media space to another for a number of hours without even realizing it. Today on the show, we are looking past the likes, the filters, and the endless scrolls to confront this growing modern crisis and how individuals can protect themselves. Do stay with us on Health Matters. Our guest on the program today is a Nigerian and Canadian-based consultant neuropsychiatrist and mental health advocate, Dr. Peter Ogunubi. Dr. Ogunubi is a fellow of the West African College of Physicians, a fellow of the Royal Society of Public Health in the United Kingdom, and the founder of TM Grace Cottage Clinics, Lagos. Thank you for finding time to be with us on Health Matters, Dr. Ogunubi.
Thank you so much for having me, Yomi. Thank you so much.
Good to see you. For some people, their phone is the first thing that they touch when they wake up and the last thing that they see before going to bed. And the phone now appears to be at the center of our psychology. At what point does an individual cross the line of just trying to stay connected to being disconnected from the realities of this addictive behavior?
Thank you so much for that question. The topic today is not to vilify social media. It's not to say that social media has not brought good fortunes. It has its good fortunes, and at the same time, it has its ill effects. And what we are saying today is we're trying to maximize the benefit of social media while neutralizing or minimizing to the barest minimum the downside effect of social media. And to your question, social media addiction or social media addictive behavior, even though it has not been classified in our system like DSM-5 or the classification in psychiatry or psychology, but it is almost the same with other addictive behaviors like sexual addiction, drugs addiction, internet addiction, gambling addiction. It is the same behavioral pattern where you have, the first thing you notice is you continue to crave the same way people crave for drugs. I want to have cannabis, I want to have this. The same way when you notice that you are craving to always be on social media, then there's a problem. Then also there's what we call compulsion, compulsive behavior. This time around, you notice that in everything you do, you just want to be there. It is now not within your willpower. Then there's what we call tolerance. When you now notice that you tell yourself, oh, I want to spend 3 hours a day on social media, but you end up spending 10 hours. You cannot control the time. Then, inability to control the use. You tell yourself, let me quickly open my social media, let me check what is going on because of the FMO syndrome, the fear of missing out. If you begin to have FMO, oh, what is the latest news? And you are checking for 3 minutes, it's now becoming 10 hours. Then there's a problem. Then primacy of use. If you observe that this thing is taking your time, you are no longer functioning at work, you are no longer functioning at home, your relationship with your family, your children, You are not helping them with their assignments. You are giving assignments. You are giving works to do. You are not able to do it, but everything on your mind, on your head, is just, let me just do this thing. Let me just be on social media. The whole thing in your mind, the only thing you think about, then you're talking about primacy of use. Going further, continuous use despite deleterious effects. So that means it's affecting me. My wife is complaining. I know I'm not able to perform effectively at work, and it's because I'm always on the internet. Yet, they are even giving me notice at work that my job is at stake. But guess what, Yomi? I still continue to use it. So, continuous use despite deleterious effect. By the time individuals are having this, you are craving compulsory use, you're having tolerance, you cannot control the time spent, you feel fidgety, anxious, each time you feel that you'll be missing out of something, you continually use social media despite the fact that it's affecting every other thing. Primacy of use, it is now your own Lord and Savior, everything. Then there's fire on the mountain.
It's a whole lot, that you've talked about now, and I'm sure our viewers are following and trying to see where, one or two things that looks like something that they are doing too. But there are some people who are able to manage it. They don't reach out for their phones. They don't all the time. They don't go on social media. Some people even tell you, I don't want to be there. What makes that difference for people who perpetually scroll their phones or be on social media, whether using the laptop or using their iPads, or what makes that difference?
Excellent question. Excellent question. You see, there are people that are social media managers. They can spend 16 hours, but they are productive.
Because that's their work.
That is why it is not about time. Because that is their work. They are perpetually online. Every situation, because they are making their earning. It's not causing them anxiety. It's not causing them sleeplessness. It's not causing them depression. We're still going to talk about the toxic side effects, things that happen, cyberbullying, toxicity, the syndromes, and several other things. But those people who are using it productively, those ones are normal users. They have not crossed the line. It's like addictive thing. If you like food and you are taking food and you now realize that anytime you don't see food, you are shaking. Anytime there's no, you cannot do any other thing. Or if this is about drugs, you cannot do anything without taking alcohol. Before you just first of all start as maybe experimental use. So there are people that just experiment. Later they become purposeful users. I need to first of all go online before I start my day. They have moved to the second stage. Before you know it, we now talk about compulsory users. You now cannot even start your day, do anything without first of all checking online. You have to first, you are in a meeting, you are meeting with people, you are supposed to open deals and close the deals. And your visitors or your guests are from diaspora or anywhere. You are meeting, but you are still hooked to your phone. So individuals must be able to know at what point am I going to cross the line. If you wake up and you just check the news, okay, 15 minutes, we put it. I know people that you're mentioning. I know some cases of people that they just look at it and they move on. It has not yet become addictive. And those people are users that we're encouraging. We want people to use social media in such a manner that it will not take away all their freedom. It will not take away their relationship with their friends, relationship with their children, relationship with their spouses. Their workload will not be overwhelmed because they are busy on the social media. So that what you have mentioned is the normal use, the way it should be used properly. But individuals will not know when they will cross that line. Little by little, they begin to move until they now get to all those factors that I've mentioned.
Okay, you've mentioned the fact that it can affect work, it can affect relationships. Let's talk about the impact, the health impact on the individual, both health and physical impacts too, because we've seen cases where people are on their phones on the road and, unfortunate accidents have happened.
Now, to be sincere with you, I once had an online session with a patient. She's an adult, she's a teenager, and she plans to go into modeling. And then, she will put her pictures. She will, guess what? She kept having 10 likes, 15 likes, and she became depressed. In fact, when she called me, she said, am I not beautiful enough? I have over 3,000 friends. Nobody is even liking my pictures. They're jealous of me. Someone else will just do something, show nakedness, or mention some obscenities, 1 million likes within a day. Or you see somebody who got to me, a teenager who is so anxious. Guess what? On Snapchat, I don't know what they call that thing. They will just, oh, you must send pictures, you must not miss your role. And because this person was away for some period of time, could not send pictures. So she could not meet her assignment for the day. She became anxious, depression, for the videos not being liked, anxiety. What are you going to do? You need to snap. You need to do this. What clothes do I wear? What things do I do? What do I see? Content creators are busy worrying. How do I post new content every time to make sure that during their work period, I come out as the best? Anxiety. The rate of depression, the rate of anxiety. Many people now cannot even sleep. Their phone is perpetually on notification. From, and they wake up, they scroll through. Okay, they quickly make a comment, then they sleep. You are not allowing the normal sleep cycle, the non-REM to REM, down to non-REM to REM, all those normal circadian, you are not allowing it because you are busy cutting your sleep. That is insomnia. Many people, they have harmful behavior, especially what we call social media distribution effect. There are people that because they are anonymous, they are behind the keyboard, and they know that nobody can catch them. All they do is they just make sure that they are very toxic. And when they are toxic, they begin to say so many things. And they begin to use cyber attacks, cyberbullying. That is another problem. Social media has taught people how to commit suicide. People will follow social media pathway. You can do this, you can do that, especially the AI-generated social media that is faceless. And you have also mentioned road accidents, where drivers are driving and they're busy scrolling, head-on collision. You have also mentioned people driving and they're about to cross the road, social media. We have talked about disruptions in family values. Many people are so distant from their parents. Children can now not. What am I? We have the health effect. We have the psychological effect in terms of physical effect, psychological effect, the social effect. So excessive social media use, addictive social media use will not only cause physical effect or physical health problem, but it will be psychosocial problem as well. So we have the physical problem, road accident, and all those things. We also have the psychological, which is the depression, the anxiety, the insomnia, and other things that we've mentioned. Several health factors, including suicide. And then we talk about the social effect, where disruptions, schoolwork, disruptions with family dynamics and relationship. How many of us even have time to play with our children? I know someone that is always perpetually on social media. I don't want to mention the name, but guess what? The children will be hovering around her, and you see her shoving the children aside. Don't disturb me. One was crying. Bah! Severe beating. Because of social media. So you can see at the end of the day, those children, they are not forming bonds with their parents or their mother. They now begin to find things to do on their own. You know what? Some parents will even distribute phones to their children. Don't disturb me. I'm busy. And those children will now go online. And we know what goes on online. Pedophiles, they are there they're looking for who to prey upon. And Yomi, we can go on and on to talk
I
about
know.
the. It's terrible.
Yeah, we will still talk about one or two more of those health effects, because I know that when you have your phone with you and you are scrolling, the neck is having its own impact. But let me just invite our viewers. They can join us in this discussion on 0808 542233. 0808 542233. Doctor, now let's talk about how this can be addressed. It's very important because, as we say, and as a lot of people are now concerned about this, all of these effects that we are talking about, how can individuals handle, their presence on the social media space?
The truth is this: people need to understand that social media can really be addictive. You may be having an addiction that you don't know, and you are here castigating the other person. Oh, he's hooked on drugs. He's an alcoholic. Oh, he's a gambler. But you yourself, you are not productive. You're not even thinking because you spend almost half of your life on social media. Acknowledgement is the first thing. You must first of all acknowledge. So everyone listening and watching, they first of all need to sit down now, determine the first 24 hours, look at the 24 hours of your life, and every day, look at it and ask yourself, how many hours? There are some phones now that will tell you that you are spending so. As a matter of fact, there are phones that can submit your total hours for the entire week, the entire month, or for the whole year. You to look at your life. If out of 253 days, at the end of the day, your algorithm is showing that you spend 200 days on social media, that means you've only had 53 days of your life. It's a wasted effort. Individuals must also acknowledge that, oh no, I need to be conscious about it. It must be a deliberate thing. So we're talking about consciousness, being deliberate, and being intentional to say, this will not take away my relationship, my job, my time. It will not affect my health. It will not cause me any emotional problem. Anything that is worth taking my emotional or mental mind off, I'm not going to engage in it. Once you come to that consciousness, you now sit down and plan your life. How many times? So at home, you say dinner time or social media off time or phone screen time off, anything. Call it whatever name. I know a particular, I think I watch a clip anytime there's dinner because they want to chit chat while they're having their meals. The mother will bring the basket and put the basket in the middle. And all the children, including the papa, they will all drop their phone on that particular inside the basket. And then they will have good family time. This, you must be conscious. Husband and wife must tell themselves, you know what? When we come back from office, no phone use except for emergency between so time and so time. So that we can talk about what happened today. We can talk about the life of our children and co. Otherwise, two strangers will be living under the same roof and they'll be celebrating 30th anniversary. Meanwhile, they've only interacted for 5 years. So they should actually be celebrating 5 years of marriage, not 30 years. Because those remaining 25 years, they were on social media. They were busy doing different things. And it is a dangerous thing. There was a time I loved pineapple. And there was a particular woman in Nigeria that no matter my route, I must go through that place to buy pineapple. One day I told myself, I said, if they want to kill me, is this pineapple they will use to kill me? And you know what I did? I made a deliberate effort. I said, this year I'm not going to take pineapple. I will take alternative fruits. And I make sure that anytime I'm going through that woman, I will wind up. One time I said, Ekujoneta in Yoruba means, long time. I said, yes, long time, madam. I'm now allergic to pineapple. I made a deliberate, because I noticed that there was a time I passed through, I've gone more than 15 minutes, I took a turn and I went back to go and buy it. That was when I told myself that I'm in trouble. I'm in trouble. So the same way, what I did then, all of you should do it. Every viewer, you look at it that, oh, it's like what this doctor is saying is true. I'm spending social time. When last did I have a family time with my children? When last did I have time with why am I having so much complaints at work? Why is my workload not always off my table? I'm always having pile up of files and co. I think the time that I'm spending on social media is becoming, you must first of all come to self-realization and self-awareness. Then you make a deliberate, intentional, and conscious effort to restrict and limit your time and content on social media. If it is not your office, and if it's not productive to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your insights today on the program. I've been having a chat with Dr. Peter Ogunubi, a consultant neuropsychiatrist and mental health advocate, who is also the founder of TM Grace Cottage Clinics, Lagos. Thank you indeed for your time.
Thank you so much, Yomi, for having me.
And we shall have some time to fill you in on what's happening in the health world on our news segment.
The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention has confirmed 776 cases of Lassa fever and 191 related deaths across 23 states in this year, warning that delayed treatment and poor health-seeking behavior are contributing to a worsening fatality rate across the country. In its latest Lassa fever situation report for week 18, covering April 27th to May 3rd, 2026, the agency confirmed infections increased from 9 cases recorded in week 17 to 22 cases in week 18, with the latest infections reported in Ondo, Edo, and Plateau states. The report further disclosed that one additional healthcare worker contracted the disease during the reporting week, highlighting persistent risks among frontline health personnel. The NCDC said it has expanded surveillance, healthcare worker protection, and community engagement activities in affected states. The agency called on state governments to intensify year-round community engagement and awareness campaigns on Lassa fever prevention. Lassa fever is an acute viral illness caused by the Lassa virus, which is transmitted to humans primarily through contact with food or household items contaminated by the urine or feces of infected rats. It can also spread from person to person through contact with bodily fluids. Early diagnostics and prompt treatment with ribavirin are critical for improving survival. The National Biotechnological Research and Development Agency has launched the National Genomics and Bioinformatics Data Generation to capture Nigeria's indigenous genetic diversity and reduce reliance on foreign genomic data. The Director General of the agency, Professor Abdullahi Mustafa, says the platform will create a sovereign, secure database of human, plant, and microbial genomes to support innovation in medicine, agriculture, industry, and the environment. Professor Mustafa adds that over 80% of global genomic data comes from non-African populations, leaving a gap Nigeria is positioned to fill. The new initiative will create new career pathways for Nigerian science graduates in genomics, bioinformatics, AI, in life sciences, and biotech entrepreneurship.
This infrastructure will serve as the backbone for innovation across sectors, supporting precision medicine, climate-resilient agriculture, industrial biotechnology, and environmental sustainability, while ensuring that Nigeria retains ownership and control of its genetic resources.
Finally, on the news segment, the world is falling short on health targets, with progress uneven, slowing, and in some areas reversing. This is according to the World Health Statistics 2026 report published by the World Health Organization. The report states that while there have been meaningful improvements in global health over the past decade, with millions benefiting from better prevention, treatment, and access to essential services, persistent and emerging challenges mean that the world remains off track to achieve any of the health-related sustainable development goals by 2030. The notable progress outlined in the report includes the fall of new HIV infections by 40% between 2010 and 2024, decline in both tobacco use and alcohol consumption since 2010, and a 36% drop in the number of people needing interventions for neglected tropical diseases between 2010 and 2024. Encouragingly, the WHO Africa region has achieved faster than global reductions in HIV, minus 70%, and tuberculosis, minus 28%, and the Southeast Asian region is on track to meet its 2025 milestone for malaria reduction. However, challenges remain. For example, malaria incidence increased by 8.5% since 2015, moving the world further away from global targets, while overall progress remains highly uneven across regions. Preventable risks continue to undermine health, slowing progress. Anemia affects 30.7% of women of reproductive age, with no improvement over the past decade. The prevalence of overweight among children under 5 reached 5.5% in 2024. Violence against women remains widespread, with intimate partner violence affecting 1 in 4 women globally. The WHO says these persistent risks highlight the urgent need for stronger prevention and social protection policies.
As we wind down, remember that notifications from different online platforms will always be there. Activate your screen time setting if you haven't done so you can control your time on social media platforms as you make the best out of it. Thank you for your time on the program. I am Yomi Otaigbe. I'll see you again next time.